Hey there. A common question I get from testers is how many BDD scripts, how many cucumber scripts, how many gherkins should I write? And what I find is this sort of question actually hides a bigger issue, because it happens a lot when teams use Cucumber as a scripting tool. Now you might be thinking, hey, but isn't Cucumber a test automation tool? What's John going on about here? So hear me out. Cucumber is a way of writing business-readable, executable specifications. It's a collaboration tool that is designed to help make it easier for teams to come together around a well-agreed, well-defined set of acceptance criteria that they want to build. And it just so happens that it makes these acceptance criteria really easy to automate and turn into an executable format. And that's what we call automated acceptance tests. But it was never designed to be a scripting tool. And if you use Cucumber as a test scripting tool, then you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. You see, when you use a BDD process, when you define your acceptance criteria in a Three Amigos workshop before work starts on a feature or before a sprint planning starts, you don't get these questions so much. It becomes very natural. It's more a question of how many of those acceptance criteria do you want to actually automate in the sprint? And hopefully the answer is all of them. But sometimes you might be building your framework initially or learning the ropes. It might take a little bit longer. And these acceptance criteria, these business scenarios, in fact, there aren't usually that many of them. It's not a huge bunch of test scripts. It's very focused. It's only the stuff that the business really care about. Do they care about key business flows? Do they care about key outcomes? Do they care about achieving their goals, doing their tasks? Yes, they do. Do they care about the buttons they click, the fields they fill out? What goes on, what goes red, what goes grey? Not so much. You can safely leave that stuff to your unit tests. But you see, I still see heaps of teams who use Cucumber as a testing tool, and even they use it as their only testing tool. And to be fair, this is not helped by all the training courses and YouTube tutorials out there on Cucumber, a whole bunch of them, maybe 90% present Cucumber in exactly this way as a test scripting tool. So let me repeat for emphasis. If you are talking about clicking on buttons and entering values into your fields in your Cucumber scenarios, then you are writing your scenarios at the wrong level. You are writing test scripts in Gherkin, and that inevitably leads to tears and gnashing of teeth. It just leads to way too much maintenance and overhead, and it doesn't solve the problem that Cucumber was designed to solve, which is agreeing on a few key business examples and counterexamples that demonstrate and validate that a feature works correctly. Because beyond trivial examples, there's no way you can have a meaningful conversation with your users or with your business folk when you're just talking about a long list of click here and I select this and I enter this. And it's not just us BDD evangelists being pedantic. The way you write your Cucumber scenarios has massive impact on both how useful they are and how easy they are to extend and maintain. One tester I worked with rewrote all his test scripts written in a Cucumber test script style in a much more declarative, business-readable approach. And as a result, he reduced the time it took to write new scenarios by 80 to 90%. Anyway, I talk about this and I give some examples in the test automation playbook, which you can download at the end of this video. I also discuss a more effective approach to writing Cucumbers in scenarios in Cucumber. So go and download the playbook and have a look and let me know what you think.